All right, good evening, ladies and gentlemen. We'll be starting our program now. We have obviously a sold-out crowd here, and the Sulphur Hill is a great facility. We want to thank them for hosting, but unfortunately, we've run out of chairs, so I have to apologize in advance to the folks that are standing. My name is Alderman Brian Hopkins. We've called this community meeting to look at a couple of development proposals that are being presented. Nothing's been decided yet. We're just really starting the process of vetting them. So you're here to participate in a process that may or may not lead to approval of one or both of these proposals. Nothing has been decided yet. But before we start talking about it, we have to do a destination check. Is anyone here for the swinging disco dance party? You're in the wrong room, that's downstairs. Anyone here for the Distributors Association meeting? We've actually had some people who came in thinking it was that. That's next door. So if we still have a sold out crowd after that, we have some things to talk about. So anyway, before we start talking about the two development proposals tonight, I want to take just a couple of quick minutes to talk about what happened at the City Council today, where the Lincoln Yards development was approved. Now, I'm sure there's some people here who think that's a good thing, some people here who think that's a bad thing. That's fine. We've had a variety of opinions throughout this whole process. I'm not going to try to change anyone's mind tonight. I do feel, though, the need to clear up some misconceptions and some outright falsehoods, frankly, that the opponents of the Lincoln Yards proposal have been perpetuating. And I just want to make this clear, because if what the opponents had been saying was true, I never would have voted yes in favor of this proposal today, and neither would my 31 colleagues who voted yes to pass this proposal. And what the falsehood that was most spread was that the money to support this development is coming from the schools, and this is a subsidy to the developers. Both of those things are 100% false. There's no money being taken from the school budget. This will have no impact on the school budget. That is false. The other thing that was false is that this is a subsidy to the developers. Actually, the opposite is true. The developers themselves will be spending nearly $300 million of their private money to support the infrastructure that we're going to build that's going to help this neighborhood. $300 million in private funds, not tax money, private funds. They won't get paid back for it. That's going to go to building the parks and some of the roads that the city will own, but the developers will pay for. In addition to that, nearly $500 million will be spent from public tax money to buy things that tax money always buys. 3 new bridges over the Chicago River that's going to benefit everyone in this room. If you go from east to west in the city of Chicago on the north side, those 3 new bridges over the river are going to have a dramatic and profound impact on reducing the congestion that we all have to live with. That's being paid for with property tax money, just like every other bridge in the city of Chicago has ever been paid for. They're all paid for with property tax money. That's a normal thing. It's not a scandal, and it's not a subsidy to private interest. The additional money from that $500 million is going to pay for things like new parks, new roads. We're going to fix the intersection of Armitage, Ashland, and Damon, or Armitage, Ashland, and Elston, just like we did to Damon and Elston a few years ago. That was a mess, and now it's a very well-designed intersection that you can sail right through. We're going to do the same thing to that existing spaghetti bowl at Armitage. That's being paid for with TIF tax dollars. A brand new metro station and an extension of the 606 trail. All of those things, I believe, are fully justified uses of property tax money. But the property tax money, in this case, is coming exclusively from the property taxpayers of Lincoln Yards. No one in this room is going to be paying for that on their property tax bill unless you decide someday to move to Lincoln Yards. So I just wanted to clear those things up and reiterate my belief that this was the right thing to do. That's why 31 of my colleagues agreed with me. That's why both the incoming and the outgoing mayor both agreed with this. It's the right thing to do for the city. So that isn't to say that every development deserves that kind of support. The 2 developments that you're going to see tonight may or may not. That's going to be up to you. I also want to introduce my staff. We'll be taking questions after the presentation, and I have 3 members of my staff. Raise your hands in the back, please. Linda Fleener, John Guillahan, and Peyton Guido.
They are available to talk to you. If you have a non-Newcastle development related question, that's fine. Just please don't ask that during the public session. See us afterwards in the back of the room, and you can ask anything you want about Lincoln Yards, whatever else you want to talk about. The two presentations we'll see tonight, the first for the structure proposed for state and division, the second one proposed for state and Elm, and then we will circulate throughout the room to get your questions. Please allow them to present first. There's a lot of new information that's going to be presented to you tonight. Some of it I haven't seen yet, so I'm going to be educated just like the rest of you. This presentation is also being filmed, and we'll upload this. It'll be available for viewing on my website, aldermanhopkins.com, including the question and answer period. So with that, I'd like to turn it over to a representative from Newcastle Development who's going to introduce the team, Brennan Hidpass. Thank you, Brennan.